Hello and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. And we watched recently the movie Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Right? That was the title.
Yes.
Ghostbusters 4.
There's only been four?
Well,
There's
with
technically
the
been
original
there's technically
characters,
been five, but
six.
the
I believe six.
six?
Yeah, I was looking through them and I found a sixth one, but I don't know if that was a small
I think that
TV
might have been
series or like a something like that.
if it was animated, I
It
think
came
it
out in
was for
Well, it came
the
out in 2020. I didn't look at what it was. I just saw it
I've
existed.
only found five.
I've only know of five.
Then I don't know what that was that came out in 2020.
I'm on the wiki and I see nothing in 2020. Oh, the one in 2021 came out on my birthday. Wow.
Impressive.
So yeah, the fourth one in this installment with the original characters. I'm not gonna say I hated it, but I didn't like it as much as I was hoping to. It felt sort of all over the place as far as like story wise. There were a few things where I wish they either would have delved more into one specific thing instead of what felt like three random or like a couple random stories that they kept on bouncing back and forth that seemed to just barely mesh together at the end. I think her name is Phoebe Spangler. With her character growth, I guess it was in this movie, and all the mistakes she's made, or like their selfish nature that she goes on in this um like story arc. I was hoping that there would be some repercussions for her actions, but nothing happens to her. She just kind of gets away. She just kind of nothing like bad happens to her character. Um, it just felt like a man movie. Paul Rudd was good. Seeing the older Ghostbusters was good. Dan Aykroyd did a good job. Um, Bill Murray, he did a good job for the few moments that he was in there. I forget the guy who plays Winston Zeddemore, but he was good as well. I just didn't think it was as good as what it could have been. It was missing something that Afterlife was somewhat striving for. The acting was okay. The acting was good from what I could see. CGI wasn't bad. It's just just the story wasn't that. I didn't think the story was that good. And that's kind of what bothered me on that. So I'll give it a 6. It's not my favorite. It's probably going to be the fourth Ghostbuster film I like ranked fourth on the list of Ghostbuster films, but it's not great. It's not bad. It's all right. So yeah, that's mine. 6 out of 10. Andrew, Zach, which one wants to go next?
I guess I'll go.
Do you want to take it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. I don't mind. This movie reminded me of the second Ghostbusters in its pacing. Really slow, drawn out, um, pacing. Definitely exhausting at times to watch. Um, Not a bad film, just like the second Ghostbusters. It wasn't bad. It was just very drawn out, I suppose you could say. It was just very slow, methodical. Yeah, I will agree with Phoebe. She seemed to not have any real character growth between the first movie and the second movie. I don't remember the first one that well, but I remember her character being somewhat the same
She had
from the
more.
first movie.
She seemed to have more character regression, more so than character
Yeah,
growth. And I
yeah.
got the way they were going
Like
with her because she was now.
you got more character growth with her brother, and he maintained that character growth between the first and the second movie.
Yeah, and I get what they were going for with her being more of a teenager and stuff, but it was just
You would think with a life or death situation, you would, have a little bit more, I don't know, but
the story just felt all over the place,
yeah,
and her
yeah.
character, she makes mistakes, but like nothing, like there's no bad. She has no repercussions because of those mistakes. Like it's nothing, never something that like drags
Yeah,
her
and the
character at all.
the repercussion she did have wasn't, it was kind of just glossed over.
Yeah, and it was easily fixed just like that. So
Yeah. So it yeah, I wasn't a big fan of how they handled that specifically.
because she was one of the best parts of Afterlife. So it was weird how they
Yeah.
handled her character here. So
Yeah. The other characters, I think, in my opinion, did had more influence over things than others, I suppose. I don't know. I did enjoy them bringing in a new type of Ghostbuster, I suppose you could say, the Fire Master. It's like I enjoy the idea of that. However, I wasn't a big fan of the execution of it, I
if
suppose.
it felt like they were trying to go more superhero esque instead of Ghostbuster esque.
Yes, but honestly, it makes sense for the fact of it is technically a supernatural ability, and fire has, I mean, it's historically somewhat accurate. So it does work for like exercising, purifying, like that type of stuff. So it makes sense to an extent, but they didn't give much detail. It was kind of just used, kind of made fun of the whole time as a joke with the character.
Yeah,
However, I did really enjoy that character. Um, but it was still, I don't remember what I gave the last one, what ranking I gave it. It's been so long.
you probably well, I think I gave it probably around a 7 or 8.
Yeah, I feel like I did the same. And this, yeah, this one was worse, but I don't remember where I put the last one. I'd say after, what was it? What was the last one called?
Afterlife.
Afterlife. I'm like Afterbirth, but that doesn't sound right. Afterlife. Afterlife I would give a 7. This one I would give probably a 6. It's it's good, but I think Phoebe's character not really having growth, kind of just staying stagnant through the movie, to an extent, really kind of disappointed me and brought that down. But other than that, I would say, yeah, a 6 out of 10. Mr.
All
Drew.
right. I think we're gonna bring it home with all around 6 out of 10s.
Really?
I couldn't care less about Ghostbusters. I've never seen the original. The
Really?
only two that I've watched have been the reboots for this channel. It is not a premise that interests me. I have never been interested in any of the characters. It doesn't interest me much.
Hey, that's respectable.
Understand? I wouldn't
I
say
mean, grant
respectable. I'd
like
say understandable, not respectable.
I mean, if you haven't seen the
I
first two, I understand it.
Yeah, I get that, but
I feel like I would view the first ones the way I view Back to the Future. Cool old movies that are better for their time than others.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Back to the Futures
I could
aren't
see
even
that.
some of my favorites. Like they're just good, I guess.
I
Um,
only really care for the first one.
yeah, like they're just okay for me at least. The plot and the storyline was very predictable. The comedy was flat and not too funny. The acting is nothing to write home about, but that's also because like the writing of the characters is nothing to write home about. It's just all kind of mediocre. Um, the CGI for the villains and the ghosts was good.
Yeah.
I feel like just based on this movie, it does a good job of building off of the old movies and calling back to them enough without having the whole movie just be kind of like callbacks and Easter eggs. And the only point the movie has is that it's
I'll
this is just like the old.
yeah,
Like
I'll
it's
agree with that,
new.
but
It continues.
I kind of feel like the old characters, as a few of them kind of carried this movie just a
yeah.
little bit.
And they also did the same thing in Afterlife where it was
Yeah, but
kind of
Afterlife they didn't show up until like the very ending. So it was kind of,
yeah.
it was more of this new generation's movie, while this one was kind of going back to a lot of the older characters.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't really stand on its own. There's a lot of things that you just don't know or aren't told or are missing out on if you don't see the movie that comes before it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a sequel that can stand on its own, which lowers the score. Wasn't funny, predictable. CGI was good, but like it's just an overall kind of like family friendly, good callback. Like it wasn't bad. It was just like, meh. It's all right.
Just over
It's
mediocre.
a sequel. It's a sequel. So 6. I'm tired of seeing I'm gonna get his name wrong, so I'm gonna look it up. But the Fire Master,
I have no idea what his name is, but I know who you're talking
I
about.
want to say Kumail Nanjiani, but I don't want to say that wrong.
I feel like even if I read it, I would still get it wrong.
Andrew, no offense, but who cares?
It's not
He's
Afterlife.
gonna see it.
What is this one?
It's
it's
Frozen Empire.
Frozen Empire. Yeah.
I accidentally looked up Afterlife. Where is he? It's Kumail Nanjiani. I was spot on.
Congratulations.
Kumail Nanjiani. I'm kind of tired in seeing him in just kind of like the dumb comedy side character role. Like it's like he's just being typecasted. Can he please get a role that
is a little bit more
only
serious?
there for like, haha, he's dumb. Like, okay, like if that's all he can do, man, I sure hope not. James Acaster, the scientist that got his arm like in a sling. He is a British comedian that I've seen before, and he's decently funny. So it's cool seeing it. It's always cool when I see kind of like somewhat niche comedians get a role, and I'm like, oh hey, you made it.
And he did a great job. He did a great job in this movie.
I liked his character a lot and wish I would have seen more of him because he was very vastly underused and then was essentially just put to the side at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he even made a joke about it. He's like, "Oh, you guys did it already?
Did we win?"
Exactly.
Yeah, this movie had too big of a cast.
Yes.
We got basically nothing from podcast. We got very little from James Acaster's role, Lars. We got basically none of Lucky, the girl that Finn's
it was pretty
likes.
much this whole movie just felt like cameos to all the other ones.
Yeah, this was Phoebe's movie,
and it didn't
kind of Camille's movie, but it was mainly Phoebe's movie.
It didn't need to be Phoebe's movie. Phoebe already.
It didn't need to be. No.
Phoebe already had a movie. You could have focused more on Paul Rudd's character, having some of them more assimilate, and you could have focused more on the dynamic.
And
showed at the beginning.
Let's be honest. Podcast was probably the biggest selling point to their last movie.
The actor in that
in the first movie,
very energetic.
Yep.
He was very.
In the first movie, from what I'm remembering, the characters had a much more even, like screen time and weight to their impact. But this one was just like mainly Phoebe.
Yeah.
Mainly Phoebe, with Phoebe not really having character growth.
Yeah.
No. It was just kind of like, I'm a teenager. And like those stories are fine. They are fine. But it's just like, I'm a teenager. I'm smart, I'm capable, and no one understands or treats me as such.
They are fine when done
and
right.
And then I helped at the end. I did the good thing at the end. But
after
like there's no
grounding.
There is no there is no consequences, which I definitely agree. There's no consequences.
Like there were mistakes made, which is okay, but like you need to show like the consequences of those mistakes. Like they can't just make a mistake and then nothing happened.
There's mistake, there's consequence, and then there's growth. And we just kind of saw the mistakes and then kind of the
we saw
growth,
the mistake.
But not really.
We saw the mistake. We saw what the consequence was from the mistake and saw pretty much no growth.
Yeah, just
glossed over. She was just like, I am a Ghostbuster. Busting makes me feel good.
I am all the Ghostbusters.
I'm all the Jedi.
I feel like this one was way too on the nose with like adult jokes.
Yeah.
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 Like tall, dark, and horny, and then the
That's
I
just
mean,
Bill
busting makes me
Murray.
feel good.
That's
I was
just
about to
Bill
say
Murray.
and the busting makes me feel good. It's in the song. It's a line
Is
from
it?
the song. Yes. And I make
Okay,
fun of
I
it
never
all the
mind. I take
time.
both of those back. I take both of those back. I thought those were just lines I threw in there. I'm
No.
like, we're gonna have adult
But
jokes. I'm like, this
but
those two on the nose.
but the sex dungeon that they made fun of, that one
Oh my goodness.
that one
That one
was
was
Okay, like that is 100% like something that like an 18-year-old kid would do.
I mean,
But they wouldn't
yes.
say that out loud around adults. They'd be like texting it later in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
I
bit
was like, okay,
too
guys, like this is now just
straightforward.
uncomfortable. What are you guys doing?
No, yeah. Well, you got to think, I mean, the brother was kind of an awkward, uncomfortable person. So I see him making the joke, but Lucky, I didn't I didn't really see that coming from
Yeah,
her character.
no.
yeah, her character doesn't quite feel like the same as it was in the other in Afterlife.
No,
I
not at
really
all.
wanted to see him hit a curb at the very end of the movie when he started driving away. Like, you get the keys, you get to drive. I want to see him like hit a curb or something
Like
I thought he was
struggling a
gonna
little bit,
immediately.
like
I
just
thought he was gonna
struggling a
hit
little bit,
I thought he was
sideswipe a
gonna hit like
car
another
and
car or like bump into a
Or
person
like
or
back into
something.
the wall instead of drive forward and
like
mom being like,
Barney
okay, never
Fife
mind,
it, just
get out.
Mm-hmm.
like Barney Fife it, like I'm all clear, right? Just,
Is everything clear?
Looks all clear to me.
Okay to go?
Give her the gun.
Fine.
But no, he just made it out and then floored it.
yeah. Paul Rudd didn't get to do a lot in this movie, which sucks because I think Paul
He's a
Rudd's
great
good.
actor. He is good.
Yeah,
I think Paul
he
Rudd
is
is
great.
good. He just didn't get to do a lot. Same with Bill Murray. He wasn't in it a lot. That might have been
I mean,
at his
it,
request.
it could have been at his request, or they just couldn't pay him enough to be more in this movie.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly honest.
We also know he
I'm
doesn't quite like Dan Aykroyd that much, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not 100% sure. I know there was a feud or something between those two
yeah. I
years
know he had a
ago.
feud with Harold Ramis during Groundhog Day, but he got over it when he kind of talked to Harold Ramis before like his passing or whatever, and they kind of mended that bridge before Egon Spengler
What?
passed on.
Never mind.
Okay.
I'm trying to find out the beef.
I think they just have different actings and comedy styles, and it just clashes a lot.
Yeah,
That's the best way I can
I
think
don't
of it.
and this was back from like the 80s as well.
Yeah. When they were doing a lot of stuff together,
So I don't
because they were both very big comedians.
in actors at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I can't find anything about them. Paul Rudd not liking.
Not Paul Rudd, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. I think Paul Rudd was just put to the side for some reason for the writing.
Yeah,
I like this character in
Bill Murray
Afterlife, but he
always
didn't get
I think he was mostly upset because Bill Murray always got like the lead role and he always got like the stupid sidekick or something like that.
for Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that was the case with Ghostbusters.
No, but in like the other movies they were in, I think that's mostly what he was somewhat, and people were just looking at him as Bill Murray's sidekick.
Yeah, kind of like David
I think
Spade,
that's
Chris
most,
Farley's sidekick.
yeah, I think that's mostly what he was upset with, and so he tried to distance himself from Bill Murray. But
Could be it.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Look,
I just know there was a problem between the two of them.
yeah, it was a long ago thing.
Yeah. I don't know why
The
Patton
one thing I
Oswalt was
can
in there at all.
definitively find is that the one thing I can for sure find is that Bill Murray was like, I'm not doing a third Ghostbusters. And Dan
Yeah.
Aykroyd was writing them. So he's like, man.
Well, yeah, that was a big one too.
But that's like the main thing. How Dan Aykroyd feels about Bill Murray refusing to make Ghostbusters 3. That's the only thing I can find. But yeah, 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
All around.
I think that it felt like a Frankenstein story. Like it just went everywhere and it conjoined relatively weird.
Went everywheres and didn't go anywheres.
Yeah. All right, Andrew, you got your choice ready.
I think think so. There's a couple. Oh, Monkey Man's out. I don't know.
There is so many good
I
movies
really
out
want
right
to
now
see.
from what I've
I
heard.
really want to see Hundreds of Beavers. I really want to see Hundreds of Beavers, but Monkey Man is also out. But also the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and Civil War is out.
Arcadia's out.
And
Arcadian's out.
Cabrini.
There's a movie
Yeah,
called
there's
Arcadian.
a lot of movies just came out that are
Yeah.
very good, and I want to watch
Late
most
Night
of
with
them.
the Devil. Oh, there's too many. Oh, hold on. Wheel spinner. Give me
I
a
was about to
sec.
say just put them in a wheel spinner and just spin it.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
All right,
Well,
Zach.
thank you everyone for watching this week's rendition, edition. There's no other word that I can think of that rhymes with those two. For this episode of Galactic Reviews. Thank you for watching along. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment any movies that you particularly want us to watch, whether it's a new one or an old one. Honestly, drop it. Like, give us a niche cut. If there's something we've never heard of, put that down there because that'd be fun.
Ooh, that'd be exciting.
Good luck. Good luck. Find a movie we've never heard of and let us know. And tune in next time for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And I keep mistaking this title for the new movie about magical African Americans.
Oh, I know which one.
And
Yeah,
the
what
titles
is?
have the same cadence.
Do they?
Uh,
I don't remember. What is the title of the?
the American Society of Magical
That's what. Yeah,
Negroes.
yeah.
That yes.
One sounds
The
fun. The other
Magical
one
Society
sounds boring.
and the I think they're I honestly want to see that one because I think it'd be entertaining at the very least.
At the very least, I hope so. Entertaining.
Like with the title, like come on. It has to be entertaining.
I've seen a few of the trailers, and I'm like, it could be good, but at the same time, I don't know.
It could be too much.
Mhm.
Exactly. It could be not for like our
Anyways.
demographic.
Yeah. Catch us next time for the Ministry of Gentlemanly Warfare, where we're gonna watch Henry Cavill be hot. Henry Cavill be sexy. Henry Cavill fight Nazis.